So 2 videos ago, I kind of took a moment to sort of talk about myself a little bit. One of the things I said is I do a lot of reading. One of the comments I got in response to that video was how much reading do I do every single day? I answered that in the last video. One of the more recent comments in that video was from a guy named Speedy Mechanic. So the first thing I want to say is thank you for the comment. Thank you for the positive feedback and support. I'm very grateful and appreciative of your support and your positive comments and feedback. And I also want you to know that my heart goes out to you. You told a little bit of a tearjerker of a story in that you're living out of your car. You have your books in your car, you have your clothes in your car, and one day when you were walking home to wherever home was for you, you realized that your car was stolen and you lost everything. So my heart goes out to you. I really hope that things turn around for the better for you. Now, one of the things you asked were, what were some of the books that I would recommend for somebody like you? Somebody tight on cash, somebody starting out, somebody that wants to just have a better understanding of things so they can understand things or see things closer to the way that I understand them and see them. So I've put out all my books here as it relates to my line of work. I do a lot of reading. I read a lot about psychology, self-help, wealth, success, and happiness. Those books aren't here. This is just related to my line of work. I think I got them all, and I presented them in such a way here. Hopefully you can take like a screenshot, maybe zoom in and see the titles if you want. Now, if there were 2 that I would recommend for somebody tight on cash and starting out that provide the most bang for your buck, Strength and Conditioning and Science and Practice of Strength Training. Those would be my top 2 recommendations. So I just wanted to share that real quick. Now, one of the things I want to touch on real quick was one of the things I talked about in the last video. I was talking about how training to build muscle is a subjective experience. It's something that only you can experience. And I did this little whiteboard, but I didn't really show the board too much in the video. And I just want to kind of re-emphasize that if you're training to build muscle, you got to understand that it is a subjective experience. What you're trying to do is get a response from your body. But most people don't pay attention to what their body's telling them. It doesn't make any fucking sense. You want your body to do something, but you don't want to listen to what your body is saying. A lot of people have it ass backwards. They focus on the externals. How much weight they're lifting, how much rest they're taking is based on what the clock is telling them and not what their body is telling them. It's ass backwards. You need to focus on the internal cues, subjecting the muscle to the highest levels of tension possible. If you try to lift too much weight, the stress will be placed elsewhere. You might be compensating, and what is that worth? You need to wait until you're ready to perform at your best. Performance, more than anything, will promote the response that you're there to get. So if you rest too long, you'll lose the training effect. If you don't rest long enough, that might negatively affect the response you get from your efforts because your performance will suffer. Pay attention to what your body is telling you. At the end of the day, if you just focus on recruiting and fatiguing as many muscle fibers as possible and imposing a fucking demand, this will work itself out. Now, one of the things I said is the reason this isn't taught by trainers is because trainers are doing this to make money. So what they do is they try to disempower the people that they're working with, because if they empower the people that they're working with and then the people can do it on their own, they don't make any fucking money. The reason I'm teaching this, because I'm not asking for any fucking money. I'm just asking that you pay it forward. What I'm trying to do is empower as many people as possible, because I firmly believe that anybody should be able to get the results that they're there to get when they go to the gym in the first place. But you will fail in life for one of 2 reasons. You can't or you won't. The difference here, someone who can't doesn't have the tools necessary to be successful. They need the knowledge. They need the tools. Someone who won't has the tools, has the knowledge, they fail by choice. A lack of willpower, a lack of dedication and determination. What I want to do with most people, actually with everybody, is empower them. So the only reason they would ever fucking fail at getting the results that they want is simply because of their own choice, not because they are not prepared. So that's why I do what I do, and that's why I'm teaching things in a way to try to empower as many people as possible. If you're there to build muscle, it's a subjective experience. You need to pay attention to the cues that your body is giving you, and the rest will fill itself out. I never pay attention to how much weight I'm using. I have an idea of how much I'd like to use, but if I can't lift it on that day, I'm going to modify the way I do what I do to promote the response that I'm there to get. I don't pay attention to sets and reps. I have no idea how many sets or how many reps I do when I train. I am there strictly to impose a demand. And as long as I do that, I'll get the response that I'm there to get in the first place. The rest fills itself out. And this is one of the things I want to get across to anybody who's training to build muscle or even get stronger. Now, as it relates to getting stronger, Obviously, the way you gauge progression is by how much weight you're lifting, and you might follow a pre-planned progression model. And if you do that, that's okay. That'll be beneficial to you, because the reason you're following it is because you gauge progression by performance. And the pre-planned progression model is in place to manage the stress your body is under, to facilitate the response that you're there to promote. But if you're there strictly to build muscle, and even to get stronger in most cases, you have to learn to focus on paying attention to the internal cues your body is giving you. The level of intensity, focus, concentration, and effort that goes into your work will determine everything else in terms of what you can get out of your body, how much more you should do, if anything more at all. So I wanted to kind of touch on that one more time. Here's the books one more time. I'll kind of get out of the way. You can kind of, take a look at them. Pause the video if you want to, zoom in, take a screenshot, whatever the fuck you want. You like the information, share it, click the fucking button at the bottom, subscribe to the channel, and I'm gonna keep bringing it.